I'd like to welcome you all to another CMW sessions, and this time we're going down under to Far North Queensland. And with me today, I have Janet Hamilton, who's the General Manager of the Cairns Convention Centre, and Rosie Douglas, who's the General Manager of Partnership and Events for Tourism Tropical North Queensland. Welcome to you both. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, Ian.
Thank you. Just first things first, Rosie, I'm going to put this to you. The past 15 months, it's had a devastating effect on the global events industry. What has this period been like for Cairns and Far North Queensland?
So this has been pretty much the same as what it's been for right around Australia. Obviously, when we experienced the border closures, both internationally and then within Australia, we were very limited in terms of where people could travel to. So we really have only just seen in the last probably 3 months confidence returning for national travel or domestic travel, as we refer to it. We're starting to see events come back, and that's relaxing of internal border restrictions, but yes, certainly it's been very difficult, particularly in a destination like ours, whereas 1/3 of our visitation is actually international. So we do have a fairly strong international market as well. So it's been a tough road.
Yeah, you're in close proximity, obviously, to a lot of the ASEAN market. The border's been closed. How's this affected business? Presumably, obviously, at the moment, it's all local, national business.
Yeah, but what basically happened was events or activities started to come back just at a local level, so perhaps day meetings and that type of thing. Then as people were able to move around Queensland, we started to see a few more state-based events happening, and then over the last probably few months, as there's been a growing confidence in travelling around the country, we've started to see more national events, and that's partly, I think, due to the COVID rollout, the COVID vaccine rollout, but also getting some consensus on hotspots and people being able to move around the country as well. So yeah, it's sort of been a gradual. It was local, then it was state, and now we're seeing a little bit of national, but certainly no international at this point in time.
That must be quite difficult with the state borders being closed as well.
Yes, it was. It was challenging, I think, for the whole of the country, but probably no different to anyone else in the world, I don't think. It was all being managed, with the health and well-being of Australians at the forefront of it. That was the premise for all the decision-making that was going on. So, we have certainly seen a resurgence probably in the last couple of months. I think Janet may agree with that. And inquiries are still strong, but it's going to take a long road. It's very different to a leisure traveller who can make the decision for themselves. But when you're talking about moving, hundreds of people or thousands of people into different locations, there's certainly a lot more duty of care that needs to happen. So we just need to be mindful of that.
Yeah, and Janet, the refurbishment of the convention centre has been fairly timely, if you like, during the pandemic. What are the expectations for the new venue?
Yeah, some would say we were sort of lucky to be closed when most of 2020 was going on. We've just reopened in the last month, so we've done 3 events, and we're looking forward to the rest of the event calendar for this year. To just echo what Rosie's saying, I think there's confidence building in the national market. 70% of our conferences are in the national market. I think that need to meet and network and knowledge share is definitely there. Yeah. So we're just bedding down a lot of our new technology, commissioning and training our staff. So the refurb looks pretty fabulous, and the expansion is coming out of the ground now, and so should be finished at the end of 2022. So the refurb, everything looks quite fresh and contemporary, and there's a lot of things you can't see. A lot of the technology, AV, IT, new building management systems, new kitchens, new equipment. So it's pretty exciting for our team to get back in after being out of here for 12 months. So
absolutely, and a new brand as well. Obviously, to go with it. What's the thinking behind the new brand?
Yeah. We did a fair bit of consultation with our clients and our stakeholders, and we really wanted to play on the fact that we're located, right in the middle of two World Heritage with the rainforest and the reef. But passion is in our nature. So we're obviously passionate about our region and how beautiful it is. And I think we really appreciated how beautiful it was in the last 12 months. And I'm very thankful to be living here. But we also, passion is in our nature. We listen to our clients, we sweat the small stuff, we want to provide beautiful food and service. And so, it's in our nature to provide fantastic customer service as well.
And Rosie, you have a brand as well, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And probably, it complements the comments that Janet's made really well. We are in a destination where we really want people to connect with the destination. And, as Janet said, that, it's the people and the experiences that people have rather than, the bricks and mortar of a convention centre or an airport or a meeting facility and that type of thing. So, we've built on this brand where we want people to come in, we want them to be transformed by their visit to the region. That transformation is different for every single person. So it could be somebody that comes here and learns something new about the Great Barrier Reef, or it could be someone that has an amazing experience and tests their confidence, or they do something that they'd never do before, or it could be as simple as, tasting amazing food, as Janet mentioned. So it's very much about what we're trying to do collectively is get people to connect with our destination and leave better for their visit to our region. So that's a broad brush approach. And then obviously with business events, as Janet mentioned earlier, people want to get back in front of people. They don't want to be sticking on Zoom calls. And so we really believe that, for our destination, we provide that platform where people can genuinely connect with each other. We're a small destination. You can walk everywhere. You don't have to worry about buses and trains and traffic. And you really can immerse yourself in the destination with just by simply being here. So, our branding is from an overarching regional level, see great, leave greater. And from a business events perspective, we're saying work great, leave greater, or connect great, leave greater. So it's about connecting with our destination and really leaving as a better person.
I can vouch for a lot of that. It's an amazing spot, it really is. But in terms of actual infrastructural developments, has there anything else happening apart from the actual convention centre?
Yes, well, the convention centre has been front and centre of everything that we've been talking about. But the amazing thing is too, I think the convention centre redevelopment has been a catalyst for a whole range of other activities or other developments in the region. So, Crystal Brook properties, which had started to open just prior to the pandemic. We've got over 800 new 5-star hotel rooms in the CBD, which are literally 10 minutes walk from the centre. Amazing property, all built with sustainability in mind. They've all got a very strong, I suppose, community or conscience. They're built with, with a conscious traveller in mind. So that's amazingly a really, really good addition. We've got an amazing new dining precinct on the Cairns Esplanade, which again is going to take the Cairns CBD to another whole level. So again, really good things for our delegates to enjoy right in the heart of the city, either as part of an event or just, on their night off, just wandering around and really enjoying the tropical environment. The Cairns Airport completed a refurbishment of their domestic terminal, sort of as COVID sort of was coming out of we were coming out of lockdown, but again, very modern terminal that's really focused on local produce, local artwork, everything that goes with the local environment. So, those are probably the three hero activities or developments that are happening at the moment.
Fantastic, sounds amazing. And so, Jenna, what kind of help have you been able to tap into to help the business survive, really? I know obviously the timing with regards to the being closed, but how have you been had to tap into other resources?
Well, the whole time we've been closed, we took that time to really reassess we had a 25-year-old database. So we went, and refreshed that. And I think we took time to really reconnect with our clients and find out what they wanted from us. And I think that, the great support that we've had from Rosie and her team, Tourism Australia have been fabulous. I think the whole industry has really banded together, but the community here in Cairns is pretty fabulous, the way we all get together and work together, and we really want to host conferences here. And so I think that's really come to the fore. It's always been there, but now I think nothing like a bit of adversity to really make us have a compelling argument why you should come to Cairns. So.
And I mean, with Rosie, with talk of the Australian border being possibly remain closed until the middle of 2022, I mean, what kind of impact is this going to have on your international business, your tourism and normal tourism?
Yeah, I guess what we're being pragmatic about the border closures. We realise that return to global travel is going to be a slow process. We are making the most of our close neighbours. So New Zealand's obviously a target market for us as well. But I think to Janet's point earlier, we have got a very, very strong, loyal following from the national market, and we're collectively as an industry, with the centre, refurbishment and a really, really cohesive business events industry up here, really going, really selling the virtues, I guess, of what our destination has to offer to the domestic audience. And I think the other part to look at as well is that there's a significant number of national companies that do go offshore for their international events, and we've been able to capitalise on that as well, where they might go to Bali, Thailand, Fiji. They're now looking to places like Cairns, those tropical destinations that they couldn't do previous, or they can't go to in the next 12 to 18 months. And we've been it's been interesting. We know we've got a great destination, but we have had a lot of event planners up here that have been absolutely blown away by what the offering is. And we're really confident that, while we won't have the international travellers, there's going to be a lot of domestic people come through that can't go overseas for their events as well.
And in terms of, Janet, from a business events pipeline, what's it been like in terms of bids for events, and what's already been booked in? What's the future looking like?
Yeah, I think from 22 onwards, when our expansion comes online, things are looking really good. We've continued to keep bidding throughout this period, and we are winning. We've won a couple of international events in 24 and 25, which is awesome. So we'll continue to persevere with the international market until conditions, ease with borders. But the national market's strong from, and they're very interested in our new beautiful expansion as well. So I think, we feel really optimistic, but we also need to be realistic and flexible if conditions change. So
I saw that you, I think, Rosie, you had a Be Immersed, the Cairns and Great Barrier Reef event that took place quite recently. What was the idea behind that?
Yeah, so this is an event that we'd sort of again rebranded. We took the opportunity with COVID to just really reassess all of our educational programs, and what we did was we brought 20 conference organisers, qualified conference organisers into the region. And the idea was just to showcase the new developments that are happening and just to give them a little bit of a taste of what we've got on offer. And also just to slowly introduce the new brand about, what we're all about up in our part of the world. So it was great. It went really well. It was interesting. It was the first face-to-face event that our organisation had held. Like, we obviously cover leisure as well, so we had to get back into to educational familiar mode a bit as well. But it was great. It was just great to have that face-to-face contact with everybody.
Absolutely. And from an incentive market point of view, it's the fastest growing element of MICE before the pandemic hit. I mean, I think it'll be among the first sectors to return as well. I mean, Cairns is obviously in a very good position from an incentive market with the rainforest and the Great Barrier Reef. How much of a value is that to Cairns and Far North Queensland as a whole?
Yeah, it's a really important part of our I suppose our market mix. Traditionally, most of the incentive business has come in from overseas, but as I said earlier, we are seeing some of that start to convert from the domestic market as well. But we're really, really confident with the signs that we're seeing at the moment. We've confirmed a couple of incentive groups for 2023 from the UK, for example. Still early days, and probably those events haven't been publicly announced or anything like that. But the fact that they're committed to coming, the year after next. So that's really important, and we'll continue to chip away. We're keeping in touch with our incentive clients overseas. We're keeping them updated. We're keeping in touch. Tourism Australia Australia have done an amazing job in the international market just to make sure Australia is connected and the destinations are connected with both our short haul and our long haul markets.
And I mean, obviously during this entire time, it's actually, we've had to pause and reflect and come up with some new ideas, and especially in terms of health and safety measures. How have you coordinated, Janet, this work with organisers, other venues, local state authorities?
Yeah, so we fall under the Queensland Health Directives, and the Cairns Convention Centre has its own individual COVID safe plan, and we have a very strong relationship with the local Queensland Health representative here as well, so we keep up to date with any changes. And that plan is very comprehensive. It covers, obviously hygiene, the type of signage we need to do, how we serve food, all of those things. We're also, obviously, I work for ASM Global, and we have a safe plan called Venue Shield, and the same thing in relation to hygiene and best practice. So we're a world-class convention centre, and we treat the safety of our clients and delegates very seriously. And so far, it's worked very well.
It's amazing to think that in terms of being an award-winning convention centre and you're building a new refurb, what more can you do to make it yourselves even better?
Well, continue. We've got a fantastic new menu, and we have all this new beautiful AV equipment, and we'll continue to strive to really showcase what we can do for clients, and we'll listen to clients about what they need. Yeah. And I think that's really important through this period. Yeah.
And Rosie, what role has Tourism Tropical North Queensland played in terms of implementing all these new safety measures?
Yeah, so we obviously have our own office that we have to maintain the protocols of the Queensland government, but TTNQ's really played, I guess, a leadership role in the sense of making sure that obviously everyone's aware of what the standards are. So a lot of communication went out, particularly in the early days, where we were making sure that our members collectively had access to the information that they needed. We also played a lobbying or an advocacy role, particularly when the space restrictions were in 2 square metres, 4 square metres, indoor outdoor events, that type of thing. So we were listening to what the industry were saying, and then we were playing an advocacy role with the government, just seeing how could we present the case to ensure we're getting a fair deal, I guess. So very much probably a little bit out of what we normally would do as a destination marketing organisation, but was really important that the industry had a voice, and TTNQ was a logical place for that voice to be shared. So we played a lot of work in that particular area, and there's still a bit of work going on behind the scenes. Well, I think everyone's up to speed now with what they can and can't do, and as things change, exactly where to go to get the information. So we don't want to get involved in what individual businesses do need to do. One of the other things, I guess, from the bureau point of view, is we've really done a lot of work with our hotel partners, and probably not so much the centre because they're as front and centre of everything that's going on, but just making sure that when they're putting proposals together and responding to RFPs, that they're including COVID safe practices rather than just referring to the Queensland government health guidelines. Just what are you doing in the hotel to ensure the safety of your guests? So just itemising it, just a half-page document that really, I guess, reassures our guests that are coming into the region that we are a very safe destination.
Yeah, I was going to say that in terms of where is Cairns and TTNQ, where does it sit now in terms of welcoming back events compared to the rest of the world? A good position.
I guess. Yeah, it does. I mean, I guess, you never say never. We've been extremely lucky in our part of the world, but, we've managed it the way we manage it, and, whether it's luck, whether it's good management, I guess, we're proud of the fact that we've got a safe destination, I guess, is probably what I'm saying at this point in time. And, we're really mindful of it. It was interesting. I've been talking to some interstate clients just recently, and We have COVID safe apps that you're supposed to use in all venues in Queensland, and every state has them. And these clients couldn't believe how diligent all of our tourism operators were about people checking in and ensuring that, just providing details so contact tracing could happen really, really easily. And for us, we just do it because that's what we want, and we're a tourism industry, and we need to make sure that guests are feel safe and secure. But it was a really interesting comment to come back from people in Sydney and Melbourne that were saying that doesn't actually happen as regularly as probably what it should happen. So it's good. We've got a great industry here that just all they want to do is see visitors come back, and they'll do everything that they can to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, installing that consumer confidence is such a key factor. Getting them back in. And in terms of the centre itself, what's the your team's strategy for development and securing new business going forward?
I think keep on keeping on. We're always talking to our clients, and like we've always done that, listening and responding to what our clients need. But I also think we are more innovative and flexible, because I think now if a client's nervous about flying up here, then we'll go and see them. But if they want to come here and we take them on a site, we'll do that. So I think really, I think it's been a blessing in the way that we've had to stop and think about how else we engage with our clients and how we win events. And so I think we'll just keep doing that, being flexible, listen and respond.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of, if you look back on the last year or so, is there any particular piece of valuable advice you would give yourself looking back a year ago? Both of you, to both of you.
Oh gosh, I'll pick up on Janet's comment about being flexible, man. I think one thing that we've learned, you can have the best laid plans in place, and they change on a weekly basis. So what I suppose I've learnt over this 12 months is that don't beat yourself up if something has to be changed. You just got to get on with it and do it. And also, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I think if I had we're sitting here this time last year thinking, oh my God, where's the world going to go? There is light at the end of the tunnel. And you just have to roll with the punches and be responsive, really picking up on what Janet said earlier. Just respond to what the current environment is for today, and then respond to whatever the environment's going to be tomorrow.
And I think also caring, caring for each other and caring for our clients. And making sure everyone's okay and responding and changing as it goes along. But we've had conversation with clients that would break your heart, and so then we've had to respond to that and care for your teams. And Rosie and we're lucky that we all work together and look out for each other. So it's probably how I viewed it when we were going into it, like whatever happens, we're going to look after each other. And I think 12 months on, I still feel that way, because business is business. We'll respond and innovate and we'll continue to do great things. But I think, just kindness and caring.
That's one thing that I think has stood out in the last 15 months or so, is how resilient our market is, and how once we get into a situation where like this pandemic has occurred, how supportive we are of one another, that we seem to bond. Although even if we are competitors with certain people, we do tend to work and together and support one another pretty well, I must say.
Yeah, and Iain, when we had Be Immersed, they came and did a tour of the centre, and I came around the corner and I realised it had been 12 months since we'd heard that amazing noise of our industry, that chatter and that bonding and sharing information. It was just was wonderful to have them back and seeing clients in our centre again.
Oh, that buzz! You certainly miss that buzz. You certainly really do. But I think that's a good place to end. Thank you so much to the two of you. I really appreciate you taking the time to catch up and give us an overview of what's going on in Far North Queensland and Cairns in particular. Lovely to see you both, and wishing you both safe passage, and hopefully we catch up in person again soon.
Look forward to it, Iain. Thank you.